Like that to be angry and stuff like that makes me tired. Like it's just too much energy to be angry. I don't know if I ever get to that point in my life anymore. I don't know. I said I don't know.
Yeah.
Just learn how to do CPR.
I do.
That'd be interesting.
Learn how to do CPR.
I found that's actually common for me is learning how to do something else that I've never done before.
Oh, I meant after you choked the bitch.
Oh, that's what you meant. I'm talking about just.
It was actually a mandatory thing at work that I had to do. So yeah, it's a new process. You do more compressions than you blow in their mouth.
Yeah.
It's like you only blow in their mouth twice, and you do 30 compressions. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
You break a rib, and hopefully your heart stops.
I know, right? Boy, I know.
Start breathing.
Even when he like showed us how to do kids, it's like it's not gonna help. That nigga dead.
Get a professional. Hold on.
Get someone with small hands. Something like.
He is not gonna get up.
He's woke. I don't know. He's not breathing. That's because you keep poking him. Okay. Hilarious. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fun with Flame. I'm your host, Dave the Flame, and today I am joined by my illustrious guests, Kevin.
What's up?
And Jaymin.
Hey, what's up?
Alrighty. So today's topic is going to be about essentially guilty pleasures in movies. Generally, what I'm kind of going for is just something that you essentially watch or you look at that might not be considered something that you might watch or look at, but it's something that you actually like to enjoy and you're really comfortable with. Either it calms you down, it mellows you out, or it's just something that you just happen to greatly enjoy and watch and can just consider real good entertainment, wholesome entertainment for you, but for others it might be something that's just wholesome. But to others, they might be like, what the fuck? But that's generally always within the spectrum of a guilty pleasure. So, with the far more interesting one first, Kevin.
We should. Okay.
I mean, you want to go last?
No, I'll go first. But I'm gonna go on both sides of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. So let me start with the more heartfelt one. I really like in movies, and again, I don't have really a guilty pleasure of a specific movie, but moments in movies. Mm. Now, I really like those ones that pull at the heartstrings. I really like those a lot. Really? So, for instance, watching this new anime, I don't know if you've seen it, it's called like Faraway Paladin.
No, I haven't watched it yet. No.
Man, it's a good moment in there because it's like a kid. I guess it's a ogre, a mummy, and a ghost right now. Mm-hmm. You learn out, you figure out that they're there in this little secluded area because they made a deal with one of these gods. It's like a god of death. And ultimately, they were humans, and the god of death kind of allowed them to stay there and guard the main evil person during the time that was reigning and stuff. They kind of guarded his reincarnated body. So anyway, I guess a kid was brought to them by goblins as a sacrifice. They decided to raise it as their own. So boys getting raised and stuff like that. So at one point, you end up seeing, I guess the main god was showing up, the death god showed up because it was like once they get rid of wherever their attachment is to that realm, he was going to take their soul. Their attachment was the boy, since they had raised him like there was their child. And so you get to a point where they're congratulating him. He's like 13 on anime now. 13 is like, you're a man now, so you gotta go out there and beat somebody. So he's like 13. They're kind of doing like the last little fight. Like he fought with the ogre, which was like his dad, and then you got the mummy that was like his mother, who taught him how to pray and stuff like that. And then you got who he calls Old Man Gus, who was more like his grandfather. He's a ghost, but his whole thing is he's the mage. So, he's giving him books and stuff like that. So he's almost like learning the last lessons. And so when that happens, you can tell the ogre and the mummy like, hey, you're going to be good out there, man. You don't have to worry about us. He's like, no, when I get older, I'm going to look forward to bringing my family to come see y'all. And they were about to go ahead and die because the thing was there to come get them. And they were reaching out. And that was a good little moment. But things happen in that series, even though I think it's on like 4 or 5 episodes now. Mm-hmm. Boy, they're good for tugging. I'm like, So I like that when I see that in movies. Like you could tug at my heart a little bit. And maybe it's because I don't want to get into too much of this, but like, I don't think I experienced that enough in movies in general. Mm-hmm. So when you see something like that and it pulls at you, I don't know what it is. It's just that pull is like, that was good. That was a whole, look at that. Like, I like how you've been able to create an actual emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I like when any art form, regardless of what it is, when you can create a real emotion and I feel it. I like that. And ones that get me the most, not happiness, not sad, not anger, it's always that love one that really gets me. I don't know what it is. It's like, the parent-child thing. Oh, you really love this person. You do everything you can for them. Like, I like that.
That's one.
But now on to some sick stuff.
Yeah.
So
a huge fucking twist in comparison to
so
what we
Kevin enjoys. Should I say enjoy? I do.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it in some time. I just haven't watched a lot of movies lately. But I like looking at, okay, what are some of the dark, deep, messed up, crazy, outlandish things that you can possibly film and get away with? And it's not something I always look for, but it's like, all right, every now and then, how deep does this rabbit hole really get with these films? So I've seen some stuff. Let's start off with one of them. The first one I saw, check this out. It was recommended by a guy from church. And he told me about it, right? First one, it's called The 121 Days of Sodom. Now this thing is so crazy. All it is like these rich people, they got like these teenagers and they go to the mansion and they just sodomize them.
Oh wow!
Jesus
so they
Christ.
make them do all kind of. They make them eat like crap from one another.
Oh,
At
Jesus.
one point, it's a form of torture where they have a guy spray eagle flakes down on the floor, and like I think they were doing something to his nuts or something. I don't know. Like it's a whole lot of. And it's like they're like the kids are losing their minds. At one point, they make them have sex with one another. They make them have sex. Guy, girl, like it's crazy, and they're just there for entertainment. White people doing things to white kids, it's crazy. But then there's one that was more story based. It's called the Serbian film. So the whole premise of that is like it's a porn star. He's retired. He's got a family now. You know, he's married to his wife and kids. Love him. But there was this another rich white guy, probably from Serbia or something. He's like, I've been a fan of yours for years. I just want to create another film that you did that was just it was emotional. And I want it raw, and I'll pay you whatever you want. And at first he was reluctant. No, I don't want to do it. He's like, come on, man, just do it. He's like, all right, I'll film a little something. So he films like one little scene with the guy, not with the guy, but he filmed some scene. It was a chick or something. Again, he's been out of the porn game for a while. So he does that, and the guy's like, nah, you're not doing it right. Here, take this. He gives him something, and he don't know what it is, so he's taking it. And then that's when the crazy stuff starts happening. So it shows one scene, he's like hardcore, it was damn near rape because the chick was crying. But he's like having sex with her, doggy style. And then out of nowhere, somebody comes with a chainsaw, cuts her head off. Oh, wow. And then he's still going in on her, but whatever this drug is, he's not even really here. So he's still doing this carcass of a body at this point.
This is fucked up.
Yeah, he's doing this carcass of a body. But then the real, other things like that happen. But then the real effed up happens is when they end up getting to his family. And he doesn't know this. He's still, on this drug, wherever they gave him. And at this point, he feels like he knows they got his family hostage somewhere. Because he ain't seen them for days. But he's been still acting this whole time. So he can't get out of it. And so he knows...
So he was, still under the influence of the drug?
Under the influence of the drug, coming down, but he's trapped in the film. Okay. The dude's like, you're going to finish the film, then you can go home. But you got to finish this film now. So it gets to a point where it's this guy that he knew that really liked his wife. But they were cool. I guess they were porn stars together or whatever. And so they walk into this area and there's two bodies in covers, blankets, but you can't see them. All you can see is just the under part of them. So the guy's like, all right, go in there and do what you got to do. So his friend takes this one body right here, and then he takes the smaller body, which you don't know what it is at first. So they're going, and they're making noises too. Eventually, some guy that was working with the guy who wanted the film slowly takes the covers down over the first one, which was his friend was having sex with. Turns out it was his wife. His wife was strung out on drugs too. So then he's thinking, right. Then he's thinking, well, what the heck is this other one? Takes the cover down, it's his son. He's having sex with his son. Son's strung out on drugs. Effed up. So he's all effed up. There and his friend's tries to give him a high five, and I think he ended up killing the friend somehow. He gets his family out. But the little boy, not talking, effed up. The mother, effed up. He's kind of effed up. So he's just looking at him. They're all sitting in the bed together. He grabs his son. Everybody's heads lined up. Oh, boy. He has a gun. Then that's not the end of the movie. What happens at the end of the movie is the guy who removed the covers was like this big dude who's working with the main guy who wanted the film. He's like, hey man, well, we're not done yet. You got to get in there and finish the film. And that's how it ends. Like, it shows the guy about to undress and probably have sex with these 3 dead bodies now. The end of the film. So that's something I know people know I don't get into, but I haven't in some time, but it's hard to find these movies. Very hard to find.
Yes.
You have to search, and it is hard to find them. But Kevin finds them.
They're fucking borderline snuff films.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. But I like looking at stuff like this, see how dark and deep movies can really go.
Oh, fuck.
So, yeah.
Oh, man.
There's 2 other movies I want to see. There's one where I think it's like some
there's
cannibalism, some cannibalism thing going on, and there's another one where it's like a girl was held hostage. Granted, they're always European films because only Europeans.
They go to dark ground.
I mean, but the artists. But anyway,
you know they like the Sundance.
Oh, it's called Raw. I think it's called Raw. Where like they're cannibals or something. Like this girl, I remember they're all like almost in chains or something. They got red, blood on their face and they're eating people. That's one I want to see that I haven't searched for it yet. And another one, I can't remember the name, but I remember some girl being held hostage in like almost like a snuff kind of place, but she gets out. But the people who was running the organization come looking for her. And so she has to go around kind of reliving the crap that happened to her, which was very traumatic, naturally so, and killing people. But like I think, honestly, the first movie I ever saw like this, let me know if you remember this. I don't know the name of it. I just remember a scene. It was a Japanese film. And it's actually 2 films, actually. So it's a Japanese film. I just remember this guy was holding a girl hostage in this huge room. In the middle of this room was a ball, like a mirror ball. He would kind of go in there and try to get her every now and then leave. That's all I remember this movie. I cannot remember everything about it. I remember that piqued my interest, as well as the one that had the girl from Juno. She was looking for her friend who, I guess she got raped by the guy, and then she went into the house and started like acting like she was going to have sex with him, and all of a sudden she started like torturing him. Nobody remember this film. God damn. It's the girl who played.
Yeah, like like that. I think that sounds familiar. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I know that.
Elliot Page. Well, I guess she changed her name to Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
I just call her Jim now. Like that's all I really remember. I was like, hey, you did a movie with Michael Cera. Michael Cera. Sorry. That's it. You're good.
I know, right? We're taking a side note.
She's in Dreamland, not Dreamland, but the Dream movie, Inception.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was the exposition dump. Yeah, she was. That's all she was used for. Everybody, yeah.
I wonder if it's this. No, I don't think it's this. There's a movie called American Crime, but it's Hard Candy.
Hard Candy.
No man remembers this?
Nope.
I remember the movie Jawbreakers.
And I didn't even realize it's him. That's funny. Patrick Wood. I didn't even know. Anyway, yeah, like he was accused of like taking little like young women to his house, having sex with them and stuff. And, naturally, so he might have been drugging them, but eventually he gets a hold of her, and she's like, "Oh, I got something for you, because I've been looking for you." And honestly, her thing was she's kind of going around looking for guys who do that. So she's gonna mind her own business, but if you pick her up and try something, I'm gonna kill you. No, okay, Hard Candy though. I know some of your listeners know what Hard Candy is. That's another one that started that ball for.
Wouldn't that be weird? This is all you.
Right.
Oh man, I was there when they first got talking about.
And like I talk about my thing, they were like, "This bitch, I want to hear Kevin."
This guy.
It was like this guy's cool, but I want to party with Kevin.
So there are my 2, I guess, guilty pleasures.
Jesus Christ, man!
I don't think they're guilty pleasures.
Like, yes, they are guilty pleasures.
Okay, something I don't know. Whatever.
You go to church. You're a God-fearing man.
I love Jesus. What's up? Man?
Yep.
And I also
Beside
dabbling into some sick films. I like to see where the line is, man. You gotta know what the line is.
I would say as a anime recommendation, because I've seen a lot of people who essentially are 80s anime fans. Violence Jack. Have you ever heard of that?
I saw one of them where I guess they woke him up and it was men on one side, women on another side, all underground.
Yeah, shit like that.
I saw that, but I mean, I get it, but it's like, man.
Yeah, like it's.
I get it.
After watching Violence Jack, I got annoyed because essentially a lot of people who like 80s anime would like talk about how sick and disturbing it is. Like one of the first scenes, like the first episode, a dude was being pulled by a chariot of, it was like a naked chicks when their arms and legs were cut off right at the knees and the elbows. And they were like pulling the little chariot thing. And I was like, okay, it's not that bad. And I was like, this isn't bad, it's just mindless violence.
Apocalyptic kind of thing,
Yeah.
like that's on some boring, that's crazy stuff. Like if you do a live action movie like that, we're looking at Human Centipede.
Yes, that was the same, yeah.
It is. It is. And plus it's 80s, it's just the colors are bright.
Yeah.
But if they would have do it now, you'd be like, this anime is crazy. So, I mean, and that's what they had back then. So I get that.
But it was just one of those things where it was like upon, like when I was watching it, I was like, this isn't that bad. But I've seen things like people were like, Violence Jack was a whole nother level. Bitch. And I was like, this ain't that bad.
And again, I think they're just talking more so about the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the time, I would say the darkest post-apocalyptic thing was fucking Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that was just exploding bodies.
Jack might have been a little bit more violent than that, of course, but Fist of the North Star was the more popular one.
Right.
Right. Because even that one didn't showcase too much rape. It did at times, but not a lot.
Yeah,
just him just tapping niggas and they blowing up. You know, and even then they stopped doing that and they did the whole black and white thing.
Yep.
Yeah, they eventually stopped doing that. She's like, oh, you're not even gonna show me the blood nuts.
The little white spurs.
Well, it's like Ricky O. If you remember that Ricky O.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing as Fizz and North Star. This dude goes to jail because some stuff is going on. I think he was trying to get somebody out. Same thing, you know, like once they did a live action movie about it.
Okay.
Which is
he ripped the dude open, tried to choke him with his organs.
Yeah.
It's okay, cool. All right, this is very common.
That thing is funny. That thing is funny.
It was very Fist of the North Star.
It was like, I know this is supposed to be taken serious, but this is funny. And it was like they tried to make like a monstrous buff dude. Yeah. It was like, this is hilarious.
But that's when, you know, when visuals and props and what do they call that other, what is that where they use a lot of, not CG?
Prosthetics?
Man, I love that stuff. I really do. I know it's money, but do it. I love it when you do it in movies. It's so good.
Do it, guys. Show me half corpses for their health and their loved ones.
What? Amazing.
Give it to me.
This nigga.
So yeah.
Mommy,
Oh, man.
Mommy, cut my head off. I want to see the roll. You'll be a good director. I would love to see you do a good horror movie.
Right. Like if this is the shit that you're into.
It's only a 15-minute movie, yeah. But your budget was $2 million. What did you spend it on?
Oh, this is a good 15 minutes. This is a good 15 minutes.
Credits turn on, and it's like in somebody's skull, and then it just rips open. Yeah, this is the opening shit.
That was amazing.
It's like when you have people throwing up in the theater, then you know you did good. And you're like, I did good. Jesus.
in theaters.
Yeah.
Right. Damn sure. And in your theaters.
Right. You know, and I would get them little baggies because they throw up on my fucking floor. That bitch out.
Have them write a little exclusive.
My way to popcorn had a little bag. Like, what is this baggie for? Like, if you're weak of stomach. Like, what? It's
like, be careful. Then of all the people who saw Paranormal Activity, and I was like, I saw Paranormal Activity, and that was terrifying. So this is gonna be a walk in the park. Oh my god!
Right.
Oh my god!
It was just like I said, it was just I forget what they call that when they try to scare you real fast.
Jump scares.
Jump scares. That's all that was. It wasn't bad.
Girls were gonna rip out the uterus by the hand. Like,
Jesus. The uterus, the whole
Look their fingers afterwards.
Yeah, but again, that's Kevin's guilty pleasure. Told you I gave you both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, you sure
nice
did.
Balance.
Yes, you did. Oh my goodness! Didn't expect that one.
Can't top that.
Learn something. You really can't. Learn.
No
something.
way.
Uh-oh. Who's that at the door? Oh man. Well, shit. Here.
Like I come in, check.
No, you're fine.
Like I come in my house and check to make sure the TV's still there. Yeah. Really? Okay.
The first clear indication.
Like, okay, it's still there. Cause that's the first thing you see in my house. So I was like, yeah, that's still there.
TV there?
Everything else is fine.
What would you do if it wasn't there?
It was close the door like. Gently put my stuff down, like, what's going on? And I go and check it. If it like got ripped out the wall or something like that, and other shit missing.
That's right, 'cause it's just wall mounted, so
yeah. So I'm like, what is going on? Then I creep upstairs and
Get the knife.
And get all the weapons. Get all the axes and knives and swords.
It's all right. I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Shing, shing, shing,
Make sure nobody's dead and stuff like that.
Just make sure, yeah. No TV. Oh boy. Are they still here? Oh, I hope not. Well, I guess I'll go because mine's far more softer. Yes, it is. For the love of God, yes it is.
I gave you super G and then I just went X-rated.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. I learned something new about you, Kevin. Kind of terrified about it. It's like it's something now in the back of my head.
I expected it. I didn't.
I tried to look for those films, but they're very hard to find.
I would have expected it if you said it.
What? I don't even watch horror movies.
I know.
You're gonna have a snuff film?
They're not horror films, though. They're not scary. They're just really outlandish stuff.
To you, they're not scary.
Right. The fact you're saying those reactions is really wild.
It's not horror. Like, oh, you're not scared. You're just like,
Jesus. He just likes his own side.
Technically, that is horror.
Yeah.
It's just snuff. It's just snuff. That's the problem, Kevin.
Kevin was just of the categories.
Yeah,
you're fucking up his categories.
It's no longer trying to scare you as it's like, fuck some shit up. It's like, what does that mean? Fuck some shit up.
But mentally.
Literally or metaphorically. I don't care. Fuck some shit up. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would say,
good deal.
Good Lord. Oh man, I gotta watch out for you.
You won't see it coming.
You
won't see it coming.
He was like, you know what, Daniel, I'm tired of watching these. I want to make my own. I'm gonna go, just kill me. Like, get someone else to deal with the bullshit. Daniel, it has to be you. He's trying to swallow his own tongue. It's like, I ain't dealing with this sick shit.
Cut your legs off like, no, Dan, you're gonna be the judge. I'm like, oh, shit. First contestant, lady off the street I found 2 days ago.
Why am I naked?
You're about to find out.
Butt ass naked, and all I feel warm.
That's the honey I spread on there.
That's for later. He's still trying to swallow his tongue.
That's so stupid. That's a funny skit. That's hilarious. Die on me, you bastard. I still need you for playing 3.
This sick, crazy shit. Had this innocent wife in place. My son is at home. Like, Kevin, let her go.
That's funny.
If she get all the answers right.
She gets all the answers
right.
right.
I can go home. You cut my legs off, Kevin.
He was like, but you're already home. He's still trying to swallow his tongue. It's like, put something in his mouth. I need him to speak, otherwise he cannot judge.
That's funny.
But my thing is actually crazy enough is rags to riches movies. I found out.
Okay.
More so. Because I remember actually being the reason I thought of it is I actually was asked this question once.
The question that you asked us?
Yeah, and it was like someone asked, it was like, "What is your guilty pleasure?" And like my immediate answer for a movie is like, "What's your guilty pleasure of a movie?" Because generally, it was talking about something and it was like, you seem like you don't really look at anything outside of like the stuff that you typically talk about, being like anime, action movies, and whatnot. And it's back like working at Target days, so it was just all around the movies and stuff like that. But then like there was like, what is your like guilty pleasure of a movie? And then like my immediate answer was the fucking Princess Diary movies.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, and I was like,
Rags Richards, that's amazing. What I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I love those movies. And I was like, I have both of them. Yeah, I was like, I don't give a damn anyone says. I was like, I have that proudly on my shelf with my Blu-rays, and I was like, I have the Blu-rays of these damn movies, and the Blu-ray DVD combo thing. And I was like, yeah, I've always loved the Princess Diary movies, and I was like, both of them. And I was like, just. Just like you just going to school, and then it was like, hey, guess what? Your grandma's a queen. Fuck yeah, let's do this shit. I'll make some crazy laws. First law: Kevin can't come.
Ban.
Ban me.
And it was like, yo, I'll come visit you, but but I got diplomatic immunity. So, yeah. So.
let me add some more lighthearted. We're on you, but like A Dog's Purpose, man.
I know you totally that hit that heartstrings for you. You said you cried when you saw that, right?
Almost, damn near. If I didn't, damn near. Boy, I was like, yeah, this movie right here, boy, is good.
But also in real life, you joked about what if I kidnapped Jay.
Well, yeah, but that's more i.e. shits and giggles. Shits and giggles.
Another dog film. They're swaying me.
Because it's one of the things that's like you say stuff, and then when like I'm seeing proof of shit, and it's like,
Something's not happening.
And you sit there and jokingly go, man, I wonder what human tastes like, right? Like, cannibals and shit. Then it's like, yo, you actually research cannibal tribes. And then it's like, it's like, that's not
good. I watch kidnap films.
Yeah, sure. But don't you though? It's like they damn near are. The hard candy, nigga abducting women.
That was like that movie came out in...
Doesn't matter when it came out.
You goddamn guilty pleasure.
That's what started.
Making it so much worse.
This is Spiral.
It came out in 2005. I saw it. I was like, it was a crazy movie. It was a crazy movie. Then one day I was like, I thought
this was going to be nice. I swear to God.
You started with me.
But your plan was for it to be nice.
I did.
I swear to God. I swear to God, I thought it was just going to be A Dog's Purpose. That's what I'm talking about. And I was like, that's what I thought about. And I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. And then I was like, nice. I was like, because realistically, I was like, Jaymin going to lowball something, to keep the conversation going after the topic is out. And I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. This nigga start hardcore. Jump in the pool, Wu-Tang. That's what you did. Fuck. So,
but yours.
Going back, yeah. So another string of movies, like Brewster's Millions, which is my favorite in that genre.
You told me about it, and I watched it because you mentioned it before.
That is by far one of my favorite movies that's ever tackled or dealt with that style of movie and whatnot. Because I've seen. Typically, what's even crazier is that those movies don't really pertain to men. It's literally a fantasy that's built around for females. So most movies that you see where essentially a woman would just kind of fall into basically getting a good life is typically because they fell in love with the guy or something like that. But generally the ones that I like are when it's not a matter of love, but generally something where it's like,
I was about to ask you about the popular one that people always talk about.
Which one?
The chick with the guy who has I don't even know the lady's name. I visualize actors and actresses' faces. He literally got a hoe and made her better.
Yeah. Pretty Woman.
Yeah, Pretty Woman. I thought you were about this, but to your point, that has the love aspect. Yeah. But I like what you're mentioning. I do like. Yeah.
See, like the movie like Pretty Woman. I don't like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
But damn, it's an Amanda Bynes movie. It's like like What a Girl Wants or She's Gotta Have It, something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's like her dad is actually English Lord.
Yeah.
But her mom kind of raised her like all loose and whatever, and then she never knew her dad. And then when the mom finally told her, she went to go meet the dad. And then it was like, and then he was like, "You're my daughter." And he was like, I did not know you existed. And then essentially he tries to like bring her into his world and everything like that. And it's just a nice feel good movie because I more so am content with the. I kind of it goes deeper in terms of like breaking the status quo. So. No, I mean he can join in if he wants to because I was
that's not what I asked him for. Like,
oh yeah, and then he turned away. No food for you. They gave him his
breadsticks and soda, honey.
Ate up all your breadsticks.
Yeah, every last one of them.
And then he got more food, and then he don't want to share that.
That's fun. Because I was hungry. There wasn't no more breadsticks left.
You cut it in the pocket. You here what?
Because the pepperonis off the pizza.
Bullshit.
Well, hey nigga, you chose to live this way. You live your truth.
Long man, you fucked up your podcast.
Hey, fucking up nothing. This is what I wanted. The chaos. That's what the truth of my podcast is.
You should have said no last because my guilty pleasure is chocolate cake. and it ain't nothing to compare.
Talking about a movie.
So fucking.
See, this is what happens when you just jump into shit. We're also featuring fucking Alan Harris, also known as Lucky Loops Online. If you like playing DOA and other fights.
Because I ain't gonna compare to old Buck Nasty. I don't know what a guilty pleasure is anymore. What the fuck is that?
I guess horror film or something. I don't know.
No, I know horror film. They know horror film. That's a fucking crime.
No. But again, we're not talking about mine. I'm talking about you. Why is everything gonna come back to me?
That was a fucking crime.
I don't know if you know
He got away as a movie.
The bar was set at a 9.
Okay.
Your ass jumped to 30. That is something that no one should ever fucking hear someone else. That was so out of pocket. Just like literally.
I decided to be honest.
No.
I knew you were gonna say that. There's a camera like
That means nothing. Look, I don't mind. I've never not been honest with you.
What I'm saying is that literally, the whole point of the question and what Kevin gave as the example is like
that you love watching.
Like I said, I do not.
Guilty pleasure.
I know, but that's why I also said this is not really a guilty pleasure. Is what I said when I answered the question. It's something I do like to find, but it's hard to find, and I don't always spend a lot of time looking for it. Like
that's a guilty pleasure, Kevin.
All right, fine. If that's what that is, I don't consider it that.
And then you know that there's something.
Those are crimes. Did you hear what he described?
But that's a perfect embodiment of what the fuck the question is. And it's it really is. It's like that was so perfect.
It's the watch.
It's scary how perfect it was. But again, the only reason I'm taken back by it, the only reason I'm taken back by it is because again, my opinion was the fucking lighthearted stuff. And it's when you said the heartstrings, I was like, yeah, that seems about Kevin. Right. But then you said suburban film, and then I went, wait a minute, I've heard rumors of this movie, but I know I'm not watching it.
And then you describe it. Which no one asked.
I've been look. You almost funny.
I was looking at him, and he looking at him like, oh fuck, okay.
Oh, once he started, I was fucking interested.
And he shot. Wow.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. There's something I gotta work on is not giving out too much information. But I don't know. I mean, I know y'all didn't see it. So I know y'all didn't see it, but I thought it'd be weird to just name stuff and not.
Right? When you describe it,
I watched the movie.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
As far as I'm going,
I ain't looking at shit.
I felt like
once he started talking about it, I was like, oh, I'm interested. I was like, I gotta hear how this ends.
I was scared he was gonna go in today. I was like, I ain't gonna go to the other one.
No.
Start showing pictures and shit.
Let's do anything for your listeners.
Oh my God! I mean, it doesn't matter, but like,
I can spice up this podcast.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Even tried to go to me, and it still gotta go back to Kevin. Right. Should have saved your ass for last. Fuck.
This nigga is nasty.
Oh, I went to the grocery store for some plain vanilla Bluebell ice cream, and I got punched in the face by a fucking cat. Looks like that's something totally goddamn different.
I bet you this motherfucker wouldn't wait to talk about some shit. Ooh, I can't wait till they ask me.
No, I literally was looking
for
shit.
You went to the store, got some Bluebell ice cream, just vanilla, open it up. Oh no, that's the blood menstrual cycle. And you're like, what would you?
It tastes like it's been blessed. And then you gotta close it and put it right back in there. And it's just like, I'm not touching it.
Kevin, just put that shit in a bowl. Like,
it's that shit. Oh,
you can taste the placenta.
Real rich. This is how you make ice cream.
This is beyond fucked up.
Hey, man.
I don't even have anything. Like, really, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, shit.
I'm trying my hardest to try and go back.
No, I'm not. You're not trying hard enough. You're not trying hard enough.
I'm too busy laughing.
fuck nasty nigga.
Shit is funny.
He didn't even pull He's like, I like that.
I did.
Oh, he led with that shit.
No. I led with the soft stuff and said I'm gonna do 2 ends of the spectrum here. I said it.
Your spectrum too wide. Close that bitch out. Like rated R only for you. Just close that bitch. Oh,
like it seemed like you had the mindset of like Little House on the Prairie type shit. And then it just went immediately to like, yo, you seen Saw? And it was like, I could top that. And I could top that 1,000-fold.
You heard about the real the House on the Prairie, the real story? They murdered each other? Like, bro, like, what is going on? That was interesting.
Good Lord.
I can tell you for facts.
Well,
see that?
you're right.
I did not see that.
That's what I can fucking tell you.
Again, learn something new about you. which sets
not that I wasn't expecting it, I just did not see that coming.
Yeah. That's not expecting it, Jaymin. That's not expecting it.
If you know Kevin, you know when he said spectrum, like, okay, it's gonna be some wild shit. But what do you mean? Because I honestly thought like, oh, it's gonna be one of those like terrorists hacking off video things. I'm like, but then you start going to a lot.
See, but that's why I was like, okay. See, what raised my eyebrow was when he was like, I'm gonna do the spectrums, and I was like, okay. And then he said, and then like the nigga said, what's it? He's like, what's those film called? And then he was like, House of Sodomy, and I went, Sodomy.
I was like,
yeah, and I was like,
free.
And I was like,
the fuck it was.
He was like,
Sodomy.
He was like,
I vaguely went over Hard Candy, but yeah, I did the 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah,
then
like you said,
Serbian film. Then I went to Hard Candy. And I was like, that's what kind of it was really 4 because I mentioned the Asian one. I just don't know what that one's called.
Yeah, but it's like when you said 120 Days of Sodomy, like my eyebrow raised like sodomy. And then he said Serbian film, and I went, I've heard of that one. And then I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, wait, he actively is searching for this shit? Yeah. If it was just right there, Kevin would be like, ooh, there we go.
It'd make it easier. Golly, it's hard to find that stuff.
Because it's not legal. Shit is illegal.
That's what's hard to find. It is a crime. That's because he got a camera. It doesn't make him a cameraman. Some shit is crimes being filmed.
I feel like for a couple seconds I blocked out what you said about sodomy. You reminded me you said that.
As soon as you said sodomy, my brain went, butt stuff?
Y'all just saying like, sodomy is just Sodom. It's called 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah, so
that's sodomy. There's people getting sodomized.
Butt stuff, yeah. It was like sodomy. So when you said Sodom, like Sodom, it was like, I hear sodomy. So it was like butt stuff. But then it's like, but there's 100 and some days of it. You can't just keep doing butt stuff. I was like, wait, so that means it was just straight up Sodom. I was like, oh, God destroyed a city for that shit. And I was like, because you ain't supposed to be doing that. And I was like, what was Kevin doing looking at a movie that's about stuff you ain't supposed to be doing? No.
That caught me off guard.
Back to
so,
you, back to
Brewster's Millions. Right. Safe movie with starring Richard Pryor. I highly recommend anybody go see that shit. But another movie would be King Ralph.
In the background.
Yeah. Another movie would be King Ralph with John Goodman. Have you ever seen that?
King Ralph?
Yes, that's actually really cool. The beginning of the movie is hilarious because it's like if like damn near the entire royal family in England were about to take a picture, but it rained, and then they set up their camera equipment outside, and right when they took the picture, it electrocuted and killed the whole family. Oh, wow. And then they had to track down John Goodman's character, who essentially,
almost familiar.
Yeah, like you might have seen it, but like he was actually like a bastard son from like one of the nobles or whatever, and his mom had already passed. And then it was like yeah, like he has a ring, and he was like, it was left by his father, and his mom gave it to him. And it was like, yeah, that's the ring from your dad, who's actually this noble. And it was like, yeah, all of those people passed away, and so that technically makes you next in line to the throne. And he was like a dude working in Vegas or something like that, and he was like, what? So he goes to become king, and the movie is just him being silly, and it's funny. And like the part that always make me crack up is like he was playing a Little Richard song. and it was like at a party with like high noble people there. And then he was like, "Oh man, a piano!" And he just went there, and he was like, "No, Your Majesty, you can't." And he just started hitting on the keys, playing a Little Richard song, and it was a girl that he was like clicking with, and she was like dancing to him and singing with him and everything. They were just having fun. And everybody was looking at them like, "Who the fuck is Little Richard?" And like, so I love that scene. And then he had a fiance who was this deep-voiced Hispanic chick. And so she was like, "Hello, Your Majesty." And it was like when they showed her, he was like, "Man, she's beautiful." And she walked up, she, "Hello, Your Majesty." And then it was like, and then it's like
number 2.
Yeah. So it's cool. Like I really enjoyed that one. But Brewster's Million was always my favorite type of rags to riches movie. Hell, I seen a movie that was about like this chick who just started dating a guy in college. Then like he was like, "Man, I love you." And she was like, "I love you too." And he was like, "We'll get married." And she was like, "Sure, why not?" And he was like, "I'm actually the prince of a country." And she was like, "What?" And then it was stupid because then she like went to the country and everything. And then like his mom was like, "Nigga, you just like trying to rush into marriage." And he was like, "But like she's the one." And she was like, "You only known her for like a semester." And he was like, "But I love her though." And then like the girl was like, "This is crazy." And then the mom was like, "Yo, y'all saying y'all in love? Hey, this is what the royal jewelry look like." And the girl was like, "That's cool." And then she was like, "You know what? This might be too much." And I was like, "Under what reason?" Like she was just like, "This is a lot of pressure. No reason for it to be pressure or whatever, but it was a lot of pressure." And then she just ran away, went back to school, and then he went back to school, and then he was just like, "Nah, I love you." And she was like, "Okay." End of the movie. Like, that's the whole movie. I was like, what a lucky woman. And I was like, so lucky. She's a fucking queen now. And she didn't have to do nothing but go to school. That was the true lesson. Yeah, but
Finding your prince, huh?
yeah, and it was like, but yeah, like generally, like rags to riches type stories are the things that like I pop in and just look at, and it's like, hey, that's what I like. All right, Jaymin. Anything?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like
Just something.
Yeah, I mean, I have movies, but I don't know if they're going to be something you'll be surprised. So
I mean, you ain't trying to do shock value.
No,
like, it's just generally like it's literally just that question of just
One movie is on Balto.
Okay.
Fucking love that movie when that came out.
So your things are more, I would say, animation because you're sticking.
I mean that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Balto's always been a good
Balto's
movie.
a good movie.
I mean, Cartoon Network played the shit out of that damn movie.
Yeah. That's what I was.
I've seen the shit out of that fucking Alaskan
Yeah.
horrorness,
Wolf dog.
You know, it's just fucking crazy.
The package was lost.
Was that supposed to be his mother or just a random white wolf?
No, this is his mother.
This was his mother. Okay.
So yeah, that movie and Underworld Evolution.
Okay.
Very good.
Oh, that has like the mixture of almost everything that you like, right?
It's very good.
Outside of aliens,
man.
They managed to make that make sense.
I don't know. Perfect. It might be too much. It might be too intense.
It's our bleeding nose. It's almost perfect.
What if the vampires were aliens?
Maybe ruin the vampireness.
It kind of would, huh?
It kind of ruin vampireness a little bit.
You could make the disease in outer space thing, but then it still wouldn't be the vampire.
Well, I guess a world where vampires and werewolves and stuff are normal, and then they just get invaded by aliens.
Right.
Yeah.
No. That would be interesting. I don't see it being pulled off properly because I do like long-paced movies.
I do.
So it's not like I don't need you like aliens, vampires, aliens, werewolves. It's too much. It's too much. Now if it was a movie where it's like you slowly like alien invasion and it's like you realize like people they're kind of tribal blah 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 and they kind of hit each other a little bit like okay I don't know where the fuck y'all at. And he's like you guys are not on Earth and then it's like you niggas got powers. Like if I saw the movie about like the end like. You're like, oh yeah, we can fight at night. Fuck, that's what's me. It's like, this shit's a werewolf. Like that will, I'll be very much excited. And it's like somehow they get hitch a ride and hit Earth. It's like that's how it started. You know, like then that'll be interesting. But not all that.
Picked up all the supernatural creatures from other planets, and then they just got put into a soup mix on Earth.
Start doing
yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be funny as hell.
Right? Yeah, that'd be a good movie. But Is it out the Underworld series? I enjoyed that one of the top tier because of all the dialogue and whatnot. So everything else is I watch typical my shit. I mean, because how high quality anime we are, Boruto, that's low tier stuff, that I still watch, because I'm gonna watch it, and then they got aliens in it, so like, niggas like, ew, aliens, I'm like, aliens. So,
well, now we're on to something.
So.
I haven't watched it in a while. I still read it.
I just caught up, read everything through. I'm like, this is okay. I'm interested in where this is going to go.
Your story wise.
Yeah, I'm interested, because especially with the other nigga who got teleportation claws things.
Yeah, whatever that is.
And I'm like, and he's like, I have unlocked my full power. I'm like, nigga, what is not necessary? I might can kill the Hokage now, but I'm going to make sure I kill him when I have all my power. I'm like, okay, Broly. Like, you're doing a lot.
You gotta collect 7 Dragon Balls first.
I am interested. They have intrigued me,
Right.
And they keep calling it black stripe, but it clearly looks like a spike belts. I'm like, no one's mentioning how this
there's spikes on it.
There's spikes on it.
I don't know.
Now I got some super androids that get clairvoyance through
Earth. Whatever she is.
Earth like that doesn't make any sense. Like that doesn't make. You got some kid that basically got the Basculus power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I get you stealing. I'm here for it, and I get we're stealing. Like, on the nose.
Like, come on, be subtle.
Like, you're not lying. Yeah, them two, like, that doesn't make
by
any
themselves.
sense. Right, them two, I'm like, they don't make any sense.
That make any sense.
You mean they were just locked up somewhere?
Then they're androids. I'm like, all right, 17. And like, on the nose a little. They're slowly turning to Dragon Ball Z. They're slowly turning Dragon Ball Z.
Right? Isn't it so wild how they're doing that?
It's so crazy. I'm like, the alien shit invasion, they're slowly turning to Dragon Ball Z. I assume the Gimme Force will pop out of the sky, and I'm like, okay, niggas. It's like, I am fine. If they make a Dragon Ball Z fighter team, like, all right, yeah, right.
All right, they have completely gone full circle.
Yeah.
They did it, and it was like, hey, you did it. You finally crossed that line.
And that's what happens. You keep trying to make this level planet attack, and they keep getting stronger and stronger. I'm like, bro, like, I mean, I watched the show. I'm going to watch it, but you got me. But everything doesn't need to be a planet level destruction.
It doesn't need to.
It's like, we got it with the World Tree. You stole that. That was fucking stolen. like now you're just doing aliens on aliens on aliens. Like, now we got a hybrid soon. So we're gonna find a kid who got bumped on the head and he was an alien the whole time. Like, it's gonna be fucking ridiculous.
Being raised in the middle of the woods.
Right.
That's why the Uzumaki clan have so much chakra.
Right,
they're not human.
They're not even human,
That's why they all got red heads.
Blonde hair, white fur. Nobody else have blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm like, because of your aliens, man.
Stupid.
Fucking shit. Then fucking the Azuki clan, whatever the fuck these niggas they gonna have a Frieza come down like, now I told you to destroy this. Why are you still here? Like, bro, like, we do not need this right now. Like, but they're gonna have to keep escalating. It's stupid. And I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it. So, but other than that, like, a guilty pleasure. I watched that Christmas movie, the Christmas with the you on Treat Your Eye Out kid every holiday.
A Christmas Story.
Yeah, Christmas Story. I watch that shit all the time, so I guess that's a guilty pleasure,
That's another thing. I do that every year during Christmas. I have a string of Christmas movies, and I watch them every year.
Really?
Yeah, I watched Home Alone.
On that?
I have Home Alone 1, 2, and 3. The Grinch Stole Christmas.
Which one?
The Jim Carrey one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have the animated one as well. Yeah. I grew up with
You
that.
didn't watch the animated one, but I mean Jim Carrey though.
Yeah. The animated one actually I had on tape when I was younger. On a VHS tape.
It's crazy when people telling me like, hey, when they kicked them out their house, they was having an orgy in there. I'm like, they were? And you go look back at the tape like, they nasty. Literally, fuck it. He was just outside the window watching. That's crazy.
They did without packages, boxes, or bags. They did it without ribbons. Did it without tags.
Threw away a dog. That's hardcore shit. It's like, I don't want this fucking dog, nigga. I'm like, God, that down the shoot, nigga. God damn. Like,
shoot.
These niggas don't give a fuck.
No, they don't.
That's hardcore.
It was the Jim Carrey.
And then when he pulled the thing.
When I was with the table.
That was a complete accident. He was supposed to knock everything down, but he did it so perfectly.
And then he came back and knocked it over.
He knocked it over. I was like, this shit here, this nigga is gold.
It was like Jim Carrey perfection.
I mean, even when it was Selena, I'm laughing because that shit was just still funny.
And then like when he's walking away, he knocks the table over. Yeah, and then he pushes all this stuff off, turns around, knocks the table over, and it's like Jim Carrey is a G.
Yeah, man. That nigga's a gem.
We look forward to him coming back if he decides to. I know why he's away, but
he
if
tried
he
to
decides,
he did Illuminati shit. Shit. You know what you did. You know who you're part of. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do, Jim. Yes, you do. He's like, you know.
He did that little. He had a show. It had like 2 seasons on Showtime.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it
either. The one where he was like it was almost like he was like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did I watch? I don't think I watched.
And it was like doing like behind the scenes of that, so it was like the stress getting to the actual guy and whatnot. Yeah. But when he gets in public, he has to keep up appearances to match. But it was like behind.
I seen his documentary, like Color.
Yeah, because he was killing it, painting. Like that man got talent. I was like, damn,
he's an artist for real.
Yeah.
That shit crazy.
I know, right?
I forgot. He said someone talked to him about something involving black people for some reason or whatever, and then like he brought up it was in reference to the Wayans brothers, or they was like talking about black people, and then it was saying because he worked on In Living Color. I don't know if it's like from a while ago or how recent, but it's like, but basically he spoke out and was like, you know, they gave me a shot when no one else did. Yeah, and it was like he tried out for Saturday Night Live and they told him he wasn't funny. Yeah, and then like he was like, I tried out. He was like, he used to live in a van with his family in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Back when he was younger, and it was like, and then he would
OG van life. Huh?
Yeah, and like then he would like go to comedy clubs and stuff like that and try to perform and whatnot. But yeah, like he didn't get a break.
He had them amazing black brothers writing for him on Living Color, and then he started getting his own thing. And
yeah, because like, even then, like if you see the early Living Color when it show him, say James Carey.
Yep.
Yeah, that's his real name.
Before he changed his name.
Yeah, then he changed.
You know, some people who are James can be called Jim, but he ended up changing his name to Jim. Yeah,
never heard.
It's just
it was
like, it's like, wait a minute, so it's all black people and one white guy?
Then they introduced the white girl later on, right?
Yeah.
But she's funny.
Yeah, she was funny.
Anybody they add to the show was always funny, so. But again, you got amazing writing.
I used to watch Mama's Family every morning.
Really?
Yeah, they come on. Used to come on like at 6:30. So like, where I meet my brothers when I actually get ready for school. Fucking hysterical, man.
Mama's Family.
It's the show based off of the Carol Burnett skit.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember y'all told me about that.
That shit is fucking funny.
Wasn't that the thing? It'd be like, and then there's Maud. Like wasn't that like the theme song? Lady go diver, swim across something. And then
ain't gonna lie to you, don't remember a theme of it. I think they had one like in first season, but I think just like and it just came on Mama Family. But that shit was hysterical. I'm like, yeah, that's why people stay with your mama.
Yeah.
And like people got phased out, people put back in. But that shit was fucking.
It was funny because it's like
Golden Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's another one that I've seen was like it became a popular concept. Was like, you know, just like it just to me it felt like I always like to think like it was just somebody sitting in the room and it was like, man, like Betty White funny, and it was like, yeah, she be killing it in these movies now. It was like, nah, man, like she's always been funny. It was like, all right, and like, nah, man, like in Golden Girls, the show. It was like, yeah. I used to watch that
show. Yeah,
like,
who didn't?
I did too. And it was like, so you watched it also?
Mom, she played a dumb chick.
Yeah.
She killed that shit.
Dumb one in the group, yep.
If your ass drooling for real, that shit was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What's another one? It was Golden Girls. It was another show that like recently people started.
I used to watch I can't even describe because it's gonna sound fucked up.
Doesn't matter.
Can't be the word.
There are no borders here, Jaymin.
It was on NBC. The gay people.
It was the gay people. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy?
No. The show, not a reality show. The Friends. Like, and then the girl with red hair. And come on now. And
everybody, not Amazing Grace.
It was Grace. It was Grace. Grace and
Will Grace.
Will Grace.
Who did watch it? Will Grace was good.
Will Grace was good.
Will Grace was good.
Did not watch that.
I watched it. It was funny.
See, when Will and Grace was out, I was in Friends. That
I
Friends were okay.
That was my.
I don't know if I was ever in Friends.
Oh.
Friends just happened to be on TV,
Nigga.
and I used to watch.
I didn't watch Friends at all.
That was one.
Really? Friends is not a bad watch. It's not a bad watch, but it's I've never.
There are some. There
Have
are
you seen Living Color?
Of course I have.
Then you are then.
Yeah. Then you're all right.
You okay?
There's certain episodes of Friends that like realistically.
You mean
it's
Living
like,
Single or Living Color?
I said Living Single, right?
You said Color.
I said okay. I meant Living Single.
Of course not.
Oh well, you're missing out. Cause that's a genre of shows. If you didn't see the originator, at least see the copy.
Yeah.
You know? That's like Living Color.
See the original, at least see the copy.
Living Single and Living Color. Yeah, I mean,
That
you
shit-
didn't see Living Color, but yeah, Living Single. Yeah,
Living Single is fucking.
Then they mentioned something about a reunion at one point.
Yeah, they
Hey, everybody needs to cash on that nostalgia, baby. Like, come on.
Yeah, I get it. Not necessary, but I get it.
But like, because
I forgot his name.
Friends, like, there's an episode where, because it was like back when Jennifer Aniston was dating Brad Pitt, and they actually had him guest star on the show, and then he was playing a nerd that she turned down and kind of humiliated back in school, and then he was trying to get back at her by being Brad Pitt. Yeah, and then he kept confining into Ross. That like, I'm about to get this bitch. And like he was like, I see her face and I just hate her. And he was like punching the wall. And then Ross was like, dude, calm down. He said, nah, man, I gotta get her back. And he was like, you know how she used to treat us back in school? Yeah, I'm taking this bitch down. And he was like, she got the
Because you forget, like, they were all dorks.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's kind of creepy because then you kind of mess around with your little sister's friends because no one, best friend because no one else is gonna mess with you because you were
who was only hanging around her because she was the fat girl and it made her look better. Like all of them were horrible people.
They were genuine.
Yeah, they were
genuine friends.
But that was the thing.
That was part of it.
Yeah, like they all were horrible people.
They were. Joey's alright.
Joey's all right.
Okay.
Joey's all right, but
he didn't grow with these niggas.
Like he did not. Because what was it like? They made fun of him.
Joey and Phoebe, they're cool people. They're cool people.
I hated Phoebe as a character.
Oh, did you hate Phoebe?
I hated Phoebe.
I love it. Because she was so different from these niggas.
Yeah.
It's just like clearly y'all niggas from a different world.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you like trying to figure out like
her mom and her sister.
Her sister was a porn star. That shit was fucking hysterical, nigga.
She got asked by her younger brother to fucking be the surrogate mother for his kids. And she did it. She wound up having triplets. Then she had basically mental instability because she wanted to keep the kids. But then they were like, they're not yours, Phoebe.
They are, but they're not.
No, they're not yours.
They're not yours. You're the incubator.
Yeah, and then the brother...
not an egg and not a sperm. That was not yours.
And then the brother was married to a woman that was like twice his age.
That was weird. It was the 70 show lady.
Yeah, it was the mom from that 70 show.
Wild. When you put shit together, like, this is wild.
And then they were like, sit there, and it was like, yeah. And then it was like, yeah, she looks like she's your mom. And and they just started making out in front of him. And it was like, the sex is crazy. And she was like, yeah, but like it's too far gone for me, so I can't have kids. And she's doing that laugh and everything. And that thing went wild. And just certain episodes was like, yo, Friends is crazy. Because Ross was my favorite character.
Ross?
Yes, Ross was my favorite character for one particular reason. And it was like, it's the reason that he beat Joey is because Ross was a real nigga. And it was like, he asked his wife for a threesome. She agreed. And then while having the threesome, her and the woman just seemed way more into it than him. And then he was like, and then he was talking to Chandler and Joey who were excited. And it was like, yo, you had a threesome. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't all that great. And it was like, what are you talking about? And it was like, your wife said you didn't have a threesome. He's like, yeah, but then they just started doing stuff. And it was like, kind of like the other girl was like kicking me away. And he's like, I was trying to get her. And then he's like, I just kind of watched him for a little bit. And then I just left. And then he was like, went in the kitchen, made me a sandwich. And then Joey, they was just looking, and then Joey went, how was the sandwich? And it was turkey. He said, with the mustard? He's like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, it was a good sandwich. He's like, yeah, it was a real good sandwich. And then just later, and it was like, wife was like, I'm a lesbian. And then Ross was, and then like what I loved is like, I would think back to like 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
How Alan was towards his wife, and he was just still submissive. Even though she kicked him out of the house, and he was still paying her alimony and everything.
But Alan was weird.
Yeah,
that nigga wanted to fuck pregnant chicks like that. Nigga was so weird. Shit.
Alan was like a roller coaster. There's certain times Alan be like, "Yo, this dude is good," and then it's like, "Oh, they done ruined my man."
Acting his ass off in this show.
But then cause like what I loved is like even though the wife became a lesbian, it was like she was pregnant and everything. Ross was like, yeah, that's my baby. And then like the other woman was like,
yeah,
it's gonna be
for like 2 seasons.
yeah,
and he didn't see
like you didn't see his ass ever
again.
again. And then like because I believe there's like the son is actually in like 8 episodes in total. And then it's one of the twins. And it was one of the twins from Zach and Cody.
Rich niggas too. All of these niggas are rich niggas, which is like fucking insane. Like
yeah, because Ross was a paleontologist. Yeah, fucking worked at the Museum of Natural History. Genius.
Everybody was in high class jobs, like they were like up where the bosses, like they talked to the bosses, like on a consistent basis.
Because like Rachel was just a waitress for like 2 good seasons.
Yeah.
Then afterwards it was like I'm the assistant. Yeah, I'm like the assistant of like this executive person at the top rank or whatever, and it's just I'm kind of getting tired of my boss. And it's like, bitch, you used to be a waitress, but it's like that doesn't register to Rachel at all. Didn't care. But when basically Ross kept constantly talking about both the wives, well, like his wife and then the girlfriend, because of the fact that it was like, yeah, I'm a good guy. But basically, y'all cheated. Like you made my wife cheat on me because she found out she was lesbian. And he was like, and he would just be constantly mocking them all the time, which was hilarious. And he was like, hey, I'm not the one who got to explain to the little kid why he got 2 mommies. And then he was like, and he was like, y'all got to deal with that. But then even like when they got married, and then the lady asked him to give her away, and at the wedding, and then I was like, and the fact that he was like, yeah, sure. And then she was like, you ain't got a problem with that? Why would I? And it was like, yo, that happened, is past. I'm not. And it was like, yeah, I don't necessarily like you, but you know, you okay.
That's alimony you gotta pay.
Yeah. And then that, and when him and Rachel kept arguing, we were on a break. That's one of my favorite lines of TV of all time.
He was moving that couch and shit.
Yeah.
That shit, these niggas.
It's just, and then like the fact that it was like a running joke within Friends, because it was like reading something that was like, yeah, well, he slept with another woman, and then Ross went, yeah, but it was like, yeah, that counts, and it was like, well, Ross went, not if they on a break. And then like everyone looked at him, and he just kept looking forward, and it was like, yeah, if you're dating and you go on a break and you have sex with someone else, that is the point of the break.
Y'all both agreeing that's what that is.
Oh no, but she was like, no, you can't do that. And it was like, because we were on a break, and yeah, that's what that means.
We weren't broken up, we were on a pause. Yeah. And a break is a mental fix, a mental change, not a I need more pussy in my life.
And then that nigga had sex with the fucking babysitter just because he could. And we were on a break. And then like the babysitter said, she was like, is Rachel gonna be okay with this? He was like, oh yeah, we're on a break. She said, oh okay. And then he was like, yeah, we're on a break. She that says Ross, we're so over here. Fine by me.
Yeah. His sarcasm was on shit though, yeah.
And she like wrote like a huge like a big old essay paper for him that was basically explaining why they didn't work and what was wrong with their relationship after they like broke up like twice already.
This is still Ross?
It's still Ross. Yeah. And then it was like and then because she wanted to get back with him, but he was actually dating another chick.
You talking about Rachel now, or are you talking about his wife?
Yeah, Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel wanted to get back with Ross, but it was like they've been broken up and been back together like 2 times already. And he was dating another chick that everyone was like, huh?
The European chick?
No, not her. The one that basically used to be in a cult. And then like, yeah, she used to be in a cult, but then there's like, she's not in a cult. And then everyone kept criticizing because they was like, yeah, she's like a better Rachel. Because then there was like she's younger, she's prettier, her hair's better, and then it was like, but she used to have a shaved head when she was in the cult, and then Rachel was like, you know, I liked you better with your hair shaved. She really, and she was like, yeah, you looked a lot better. And then she shaved her head, and then Ross was like, yeah, he want to get back together with Rachel because he was like, he ain't gonna be with no bald head woman. But Rachel was like, you got to read this, and after you read it, then I'll know that you actually want to get back together. And he was like, yeah, sure. And then he didn't read it. And then she was like, so you agree? And then he, sure. And then she was like, really? Because I felt that you wouldn't. He's like, oh, no, I totally agree. And then like they had sex. And then like he told Chandler. And Chandler was like, well, you got to read it now. And then he was like, I should read it now. And he was like, yeah. And he was like, he said, that's the least you could do. You had to have sex with the woman. And then it shows him reading it at like the end of an episode. And then he no, it does not. And he just,
And
and it was like, no. He's like, oh, hell no. And then Ross was like, oh, no. He's like, I don't agree with none of it. And she was like, wait, so you lied about reading it? Of course I lied about reading it.
And I remember like one of the jokes like, so, this is nice red ones. And she was like, yeah, you get red ones out of everybody. And then he's like, I don't get eat one. I'm like, sheesh. I could be y'all friends. Y'all niggas are. Or when Phoebe and Joey found out that the sister and
Monica and Chandler.
was
when
like, they was from the window like, what? Is that yeah. Oh, they shot too.
And then when Ross found out, because he was talking to, I forgot who he was talking to. He was like showing an apartment or something like that. And then he was like, everyone's been like something crazy would always happen, and it would interrupt him speaking to this guy or something like that. And then he was like getting this place or whatever. And then he was like, yeah. And he was like, hey, I can see my sister's house from here. And he's like, hey, look at my friend Chandler. What are they doing? What? No, no, get off my sister! And then you just show him run to the apartment next door, and he almost busts the door open. And he, Chandler, I know you went there with my sister. And he opened the door, Chandler. And then he was like, it's my best friend and my sister. And then he was like, hey, I love her. And my best friend and my sister.
Shit. Piece of show.
Friends was like, like if you watch it, this and that.
That's going to.
Yeah, and it was like,
it's over your 3 season.
Right, yeah. I understand that. Like you can just watch a little bit of something. You don't need to watch all of it. There's always been a weird inconsistent. It's like, whoa, this is too much. This is too much information for Kevin.
I just rather listen to y'all explain it to me, and I felt like I have watched it.
It's like just this is for some shows, and it's like, yeah, you can just look at the beginning of it, and it's like, if it ain't your cup of tea, drop the bitch. Yeah, drop the bitch. And Kevin go, oh no. He go 1, 2, 3, get out of here. This is
it's the water winning. No. Everyone's won an Oscar on the show.
This is some sugar nut. Get it out of here.
5 seasons.
Yeah, it's like, who boy? It's 1 episode a season.
1 episode.
No, what did I say? Over the 3.
I have a principle.
Get it out of here.
Over the 3, too much for me.
3 is too much for me.
There's some sodomy in it. How much are we talking about?
No, okay.
I put a series alongside you can't even tempt me with that because it's not real. Like, why would you?
You're lying.
The fact that that's your answer. It is hysterical.
I'm only saying that because I knew it's funny. I said it because it's funny. That's stupid.
That's not even real. You're making up stuff. It's real though.
That ain't real. Ain't no one did it.
I would have known.
I would have known. I didn't see it. I didn't see it on none of the forums or nothing.
I didn't see it.
When I look for my side of the stuff, no one talks about it. I'm serious. I don't ever see that coming.
It's too much for people to handle that. Ain't nobody handle a series of sodomy.
I knew it. It's just Seinfeld in disguise. You tried to trick me. You tried to trick me.
Yeah, now Seinfeld's funny for a different reason. Because they're shitty people.
Yeah, there they are.
That is
the fact that it ends with that, like them going to jail for being shitty people, is like that's just the perfect, all around catharsis for all of it. And it was like literally a law for just not helping someone getting mugged is sending you assholes to jail, and they were like, and even in jail it was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, we gotta go to jail now, I guess.
Well, what's the half bald headed man's name?
George.
You talk about scum. George is the scum that you know that guy.
Yeah.
He's in the background and you're like, why is he here? Why is he here? No one likes him. Like, man.
They were like one of
fucking Costanza, man. No, man. And then he worked for the baseball team. Like, how did he get his job? He's insecure.
He became a manager for the Yankees. Like one of my favorite things about him was that he would be so self-absorbed that they would literally be a conversation happening between like Elaine and Jerry, and it's interesting and what they're going on. And George is just worried about his food. And he was like, why did they give me lettuce? I normally don't eat this with lettuce. Why would they give it to me? and it was like, so how did your day go? And he was like, I mean, I ordered it without lettuce and then they give me lettuce. Like, who does that? And he's like, who does that? And he was like, he said, but if I call her over and tell her not to give me lettuce and she says I did order it with lettuce, now he said, I don't want to do that. He's like, I don't want to have to go through that because that's a lie. And I was like, this nigga doesn't care about anybody else. They freaking wanted to get him to quit a job, but he wouldn't. Because he got the job because they thought he was disabled, but then they found out he wasn't, and then it was like, we can't fire you because of the contract, but they can make him quit. And then he was like, well, I'm not quitting. And then he was like, he had a personal bathroom, they sealed it up, they made it to where he couldn't get into his office, he still snuck away in there, and he was like, well, I'm not quitting. And then he was like, I'm not quitting at all. He's like, George Costanza was crazy. He's like, the way I approach women normally is always bad. He went to a woman, he's like, hi, my name's George Costanza. I'm insecure male. He's like, I don't have a job and I live with my mother. And the lady went, hello. And he was like, if I do the opposite, good things happen to me. He was like, this is crazy.
I do watch this show called Insecure.
I've always heard about it.
Yeah. And it's
with the black chick?
Yeah, all black people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's like, it's meta as fuck. Like for black people shit,
Mm-hmm.
it is hitting on a different comedy shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's something that I guess you wouldn't be expecting me to watch. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny, but it's like, it's 5 seasons, so I'm not talking to you.
I still listen.
He just heard water noises. Like, Kevin, you should watch it.
It's over. But it's interesting story plot. It's very much like this girl, insecure time of life. Like, you're out of college, but you're trying to get a real job for real. But, you know, people around you kind of doing a little bit better. You're like, what am I doing with my life? Type of energy. It's basically that and like friendships. And basically that's what the whole show majority about, like their relationship stuff and friendship stuff. You know, and with a whole bunch of like sprinkled in a little comedy shit. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not like but it's like black people shit, black people funny stuff. It's like it's very much like, oh, okay. I was trying to get that door. All right, I guess you didn't see me here. Like, all right, like, it's some shit like that. Very Californian. Very, 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 very California shit. So, shit's funny, But it's very, very meta, different type of black people that you usually don't see on TV and stuff like that. Different type of niggas. Had a Crip nigga. No, he had a blood nigga that didn't say C stuff.
Okay.
So he was just, all his language was just. It didn't revolve anything around C's, and so you put B's in front of it. They was like, oh, I don't know what you're saying. All right, it was funny stuff like that. Her job she was at the like almost like an organization that helps people like find jobs and stuff like that. Yeah, but it was run by like full white people. So she would do like, well, this neighborhood's kind of not white, so maybe you should try to do this. And I was like. What are you talking about? Like, we just gave them a fundraiser, and it's like, yeah, but that didn't really help. Like, you're trying to help. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. It's shit like that. Like, their logo was like a white hand holding like black little dots or whatever. It's like, well, it seems like a white savior type of deal. And it's like, I don't understand what you mean. Like, we're helping. We're the hand that's helping. Like, yeah, I hear you. I hear, but you don't see what I'm saying. It's like, I don't get it. I like this design. I made it. I'm like, okay. It's like fuck. So like little shit like that where it's like, it's just funny shit like that. And then it is a drama. Mm-hmm. So it is just a general like.
It came on HBO, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and I guess, but I think I told you about that. Euphoria. That shit is amazing. And nothing but kids and drugs. Nothing but fentanyl and kids. So that shit. That shit and transgender kids. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like that shit and drunk moms.
There's some more, huh?
There's more. I was like, because it revolves around like 3 groups. Like Rue is the main character, and she was she just got back home off of what did they send drug people
Rehab.
Rehab. So she came back from rehab. And then this new girl that came in town, Jules, and she moved with her dad because my mom's crazy, and she was transitioning and stuff. And then it's like Ruth's homegirls that grew up with, and her their mom's a drunk, but like because she's a drunk, she don't really regulate these niggas, and these niggas just do what the fuck ever. So they out going to fucking parties and doing snagging shit that they don't have no business doing, and you just following a girl trying to do drugs. I mean, she's kind of doing drugs. It's like but I think first episode she was crushing up drugs, doing drugs that day, and I was like yeah, I can't get through the day without my drugs. So
crazy.
That remind me of the Wolf of Wall Street movie. Where he was like explaining, he was like, I do uppers.
That scene with the going to Lambo and they were talking. They was like in the back behind the scenes, of like, we had to like redo the steps, because they had more steps they had added, and they was actually not on something, but they did something, so like they actually can't feel the delayed time part, and so that shit really did take a long time. I was like, this shit, y'all niggas acting too much. I was like, man.
So they gotta take uppers to cancel out the downers, and I do speed to cancel out the cocaine. He said, then I mellow out with weed. And it was like, you could just not do the drugs to function. He's like, no.
But yeah, that's only 2 seasons, Kevin. I mean, you can get to Euphoria, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not. Amongst everything else I need to start watching, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's a good, high-quality show. Like, literally, the cinematography of it is stupid. Okay. So, but
I still haven't even watched the one you said is the dude that's like me. I still haven't, even though I watched the season 1 and 2 review.
I think you enjoyed that too.
I didn't watch the other.
The sex ed thing?
Yeah.
Sex ed, that's what it is.
Because, like, third season, first 3 episodes, Otis, that's good. Hands down, no question. No question. And I wish one of y'all would watch it, because first of all, you'll laugh. You'll text me like, I see the episodes. Yes, Kevin. And it's like, and y'all get it. Y'all understand it. And I don't want to ruin it, because I can just tell you, like,
I'll make an effort to watch it tonight.
But like the first 3 episodes, it's like.
You said the newest season?
Of the new season is definitely some Kevin habits. And I'm like, damn, Otis, you Kevin a little bit. You Kevin a little bit. Yeah. You Kevin a little bit.
Is Otis the main dude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The guy who played when he was a child, the space.
Ender's Game.
Ender's Game, yeah.
And I love that book.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I love that book.
Wow.
And just the movie, I was like,
no. I mean, could they make that movie into a proper movie, though? I mean, make that book to a proper movie?
Realistically, the best thing would have been either to make it a series or would have had a string of movies. Because, like, and it was like trying to summarize all of that one book into one movie. It's like, nah, dude.
It's always difficult to
it's like, this is literally, And it was one of those things where it was like, the core of this story is literally like a fucking child trauma of just having ridiculous expectations with adults who just don't really care to understand a kid's mentality. And it's like, why are you pushing me so hard? Because. And it's like, what does that mean? And it's like, if we don't push you, we'll all fucking die. And it's like, nigga, it's too much. Basically, a far more grounded concept of like the world, feeling like the world is on your shoulders as you're going through puberty. Versus like a Neon Genesis Evangelion. Which is literally like the same reason that the creator had for making that. And it was like, when I was 14, it felt like the world was on my shoulders. Hey, I got an idea. And you made that, and it was like, if you didn't tell me, I would not have caught that. So I wouldn't have caught that, because
the world was on Shinji's shoulders.
It literally was, So, but it's like, I didn't know that was the theme. It was like, you could have kind of like, put that somewhere. And it's like, no, that's what they all told him when he was sitting in the chair. The final episode? I thought that was because of budget cuts. It was because of budget cuts. But still.
Yeah.
He was like, didn't you get the metaphor when he was choking on Oscar? No. I didn't get that metaphor. Yeah. He wanted the redhead bitch to die. She was the devil. But in the end, the devil lived because we're all still with the devil. We had to kill the angel, and then we're only with the devil. But you can't kill the devil. Gross. Which is what she says. Well, disgusting.
Speaking of angels, Midnight Mass. It's damn near an hour episode.
Mhm.
But it's
I know
only
AP.
7.
AP. I watched it with AP.
Yeah.
Did y'all talk about it yet?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
he
it.
talked to him last time. He was talking about him.
Ooh, yeah.
You liked it?
Oh, yeah.
Minion had an element that he liked.
Yeah. And they're vampires.
I wish they had more vampires.
Mhm.
But I did like that last episode when they just went out. I wouldn't have. But, I'm a different type of nigga. Like,
What would you have done?
as soon as they was like, oh, we burned the last building, I'm digging a hole. Fuck that. Like, the dumb bitch was digging a hole on the beach. Bitch, why are you at the beach? Like, I would have ran to the other side and like, oh, there's no houses. Find some shrubbery and start digging. Like, I would have been dug a 6-foot hole and just sat that bitch.
Or they could have got one of those canoes, flipped it over, and just laid under it.
Laid in there.
Yeah.
The boats were on fire, but they're not gone. Stayed in the boat. It's so many several things they could have done. No, I'm a sing. I'm a sing to my death.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm a half immoral eating vampire monster.
She realized she want to die at the end. She thought, all right, I want to die. Then as that sun was raising up and the UV rays was baking that ass, she's like, nah, this ain't the move.
Yeah.
She was a punk the whole movie. Like she knew. She knew she didn't really want to die, but she couldn't say that to everybody else.
Right, yeah.
Like she saw the Muslim niggas praying like, man, I can't go out like a punk. I'm gonna pray on the breach. Then that sun started coming up like,
That's
nah.
When my man, when they was in church blessing all them people, she was in the back. They were like, what? You coward.
You guys. I was like, why you ain't in front? It's like,
Motherfuckers getting their ass ate.
I mean,
That's
you
why.
can shoot me down, but if I just boom,
Yeah.
I'm like, you should have emptied the clip, nigga. You should have went to her dome and boom, 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 just blew that shit all the way off, man. Shit, nah, they try to be soft and shit. We only got 5 minutes. Fuck that, 5 minutes, boom, boom. Like, give me the bullets. I'm like, man.
Still been shooting that bitch.
And I don't like the fact that like they were vampires, but they didn't really have any powers. Really, no one really didn't really show how strong they were. Because I'm like that priest when that homeboy shot his daughter.
Yeah,
I ripped that nigga's head clean off the shoulders. Ha! Like man, he really did nothing. Tussle with that nigga.
no one's really giving a training manual on what it is.
I mean, but usually vampires are strong. So I'm like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and typically like when they do that, it's just like, oh,
Right
right,
to the
like you got turned into a vampire, and now you know how to, close quarter combat. Why? Like no, they were real, but they got turned, and the only thing they knew was the thirst. You know what I'm saying? No, they get a crash course of, hey, do this.
or I'm not saying them to do flips. I'm just saying if a nigga shot my daughter, I'm going to his neck and just popping his head off. Like that's what I'm saying.
I was like, this is the reflex.
Right.
But now the vampirism makes it a reality.
It's a reflex.
Right. So I'm like,
But
fuck
I know,
that.
well, you did see that. Well, they learned how to turn. I like the concept of
Yeah,
just
the
being
blood.
bit don't count. You
Yeah.
get your ass ate up. That's it.
And then
Now you gotta I gotta beat into your mouth.
yeah.
So it's like, all right, that's
That's a vampire thing. And the vampire was like sucking on niggas. Like he was having a little orgy.
I know sucking
Yeah.
what he was doing was two different things. My man was making love.
He
He didn't care.
didn't care if he was alive or not. But he was gonna make love to that neck though.
Yeah.
Like he was eating that shit. That damn shit was eating for real.
He didn't care about what was going on around him. He just, I'm like,
Because when he's in that house, when the kids saw him in the house,
Oh, yeah.
she's like, he's like, quick, move it. I'm like, fuck, nigga. And then they shot that nigga twice. I'm like, nigga.
Right,
Like, bitch, like, Jesus.
And they had to set his ass on fire to
Right.
get his attention. And he still wanted more. When
Nah,
he had homegirl,
fuck.
she brought his head back down into it. I'm like, yo, this bitch nasty. Like,
Yeah, right.
Bitch, I
He's
know
like,
this
bitch,
shit
what you doing to my
has to
wing? All right, fuck it. I was like,
Right.
Like,
He was just doing my wing. Now this
Yeah,
shit
but
is
that's so good,
busting. I
bitch.
gotta get back in here.
They sure did.
Yeah.
and
What
does
you
that
type
mean?
O? Bitch, this is amazing.
That's so wild.
Yeah, but no, that was 7 episodes of like good shit. Yeah.
More if they explain more vampire stuff, that would help me out. You know, but it was good. They did a good job of like
I mean,
first encounter vampire shit.
Well, to be honest, if you look from the perspective of them, they explained to it because for them, it was an angel.
Right.
You knew what the fuck that was.
And he played that bitch up. He walked in church like,
Yeah.
He really
so
did.
it's like, but are you an angel then? Like what the fuck? Like, It's like,
Snatch that lady up who diving on real quick.
I wish you would have said something, nigga. He ain't say nothing.
He ain't say nothing.
Not one thing. I'm like, well, nigga, say something, nigga.
Because if he said something, this is a demon. You don't know any scriptures.
Can you speak?
Because I would have been completely okay with him like talking like, I knew Jesus. It's kind of a lame. But, hey, y'all worship him. It's cool. It's like, you know, I was born before him and Moses. I see the burning bush. And I'm like, nigga, what? That was me hold on because it's like, wait, so are y'all evil? I don't know what to do now. I'm like, y'all dying? Y'all gonna kill an angel?
That was
God?
to further rope-a-dope them to be like, yeah, I knew, but not really saying, hey, I'm this.
But why he play into it? That's weird though.
Huh?
Why he play into it?
What do you mean why he playing into it?
He put on. Why is he in the church?
Yeah,
Why is he doing this?
Right.
This makes no sense at this point.
You just really want him to talk.
He didn't explain stuff. Nigga was in a cave in Jerusalem, which is kind of weird. And then you fucking found out, and he's like, he brought him back, and then he's doing eating nigga shit, but also not really saying stuff. He's talking, I hear him in my head. What is that supposed to mean?
His right,
telepathic now? Like,
his right hand man, that pastor was his, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was who's supposed to.
But did he ask him to bring him back? Or did he just bring him back on volition?
That's a very.
I think he just brought him back.
Then it's like, how did you get that super flying bean to like, hop in this coffin? All right, appreciate it. I'm going to trust you for to hop in the coffin and just carry me through the daylight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you could have been like, I got you, bitch. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And he put it time.
He knew what time it was because he didn't just eat. He ate them and turned them and realized you're not sick anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he knew, all right, you know what time it is. Where we going?
But you know, they had like the free will part before they turned like vampire.
Yeah.
So like, at any point in time, he could have been like, nah. Like, so like, I wouldn't. I would take my immortal stuff and hop in the box. like, have to be out of here. I'm like, no, nigga. Like, bring me more bodies. I mean, that's what you can do for me.
Well, he
like,
clearly had it because he did, like you said, he wanted to share that with people. So maybe, waited till nightfall. Hey, I want to bring you back to share you with my people. Like, he was just like.
Well, I guess for James' point, like, why would he agree to that?
All right, yeah. Why would I?
And then why would I trust you to do that?
The same reason he butt naked in Jerusalem. I gotta get a body head. It ain't nothing but
Seeing pretty fucking comfortable with me.
He
was butt naked in Jerusalem.
He was butt naked in a tub. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he had a dugout.
He could have dug out?
He could have dug out. It's nothing but sand. He could have dug out.
Have you ever seen submarines in sand?
Never seen a fucking vampire. Where the wolves here?
That sand is like the ocean. Where are you digging to?
But at the same time, it's not like it never goes night.
Right.
It does.
And he flies real
When
fast.
you poke your head up from the sand.
And he flies real fast.
When you poke your head up from the sand. I can see if he was in water. It's like, all right, the sun is still up. Let me go a little bit.
I mean, he could have made a run for it, is what I'm saying. But I think he was trapped. I don't think he was trapped. Because he said the sandstorm busted open the doors, blah, blah, blah. That's what he was talking about. So I think he was trapped. Or that was his house and that nigga was in the back end of his house. Like, actually, I have a whole house down here. Like, I was just pretty chill.
And going to the sun, you see how, like, in all the other vampire lore, they reacted to the sun immediately.
Yeah.
It didn't take no time. So I'm pretty sure he just, like,
yeah.
Get back away from me.
I'm not saying not watch out for the sun. I'm saying I don't think the hole was a trap for him. I think that was just his house.
That just got buried under the sand.
I do not think he was because he's alive.
Yeah.
He looks exactly the same from when that nigga dragged him. It's not
like
he healed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looked just as monstrous before.
Yeah.
So it's like what?
Well, he got to be picking people off.
Yeah.
Or
he might be a little hungry. He was eating all cats and shit. But it's like he had been something.
Yeah, I think he got tired of them cats.
He ate all the cats. Not that he got tired of cats, he ate all the cats. All the cats were eaten. It's like all the cats were in the upper. Yeah, he ate all the cats. Why did he bring them down to the riverside and hand them back past?
I don't think he handled like when that storm happened. It flooded and brought everything down.
So he ate all the cats, threw the bitch to the river.
Yeah. I don't think it was storm. No, because that little island gets flooded when it storms.
Yeah.
So everything on that island, because I think he was even just throwing them bitch because there were dead cats all over the goddamn thing. So when the flood happened, they were like, yeah, that usually happens. It floods and brings everything down from it. Yeah, beach full of dead.
And also, why did he eat the dead cats? That's weird. There are people.
He was on his Alf shit.
But there are people there. Why you just eat them?
He was on his Alf shit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta eat these cats first because it's an island.
How is that an explanation?
Because that, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good.
He probably hasn't even seen that show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was
Kitty Cat dominated all the animals before he went to people.
Because you gotta remember, it's an island of a population of 127. I just can't come in here and just start.
Why not?
Dropping.
What can stop you?
Nothing. But remember, like that's what I was telling you guys. I'm trying to build me a cult.
That nigga could have snatched the nigga in the house, ate everybody in the house, chilled out for the day.
I need a cult.
Miss Margaret, you ain't come to work today, and just lock the doors and close that. Like, what are they gonna do? By the time they bust in the next day, because they're not gonna bust somebody at the house at night.
The thing is, I gotta build me a cult of believers. I just can't be in here sucking on people because that's what happened with my man's. When he bit him, he said, before you completely turn, you're still you.
Yeah.
So he was just like, well, fuck this. So now I need the pastor, when I bite, I need people to reel in these sheep for me. I just can't, if I just turn it loose.
But he fully turned that guy. I think it just took long because he was old. He had to go back to his original perfect state. Just like the old lady or whatever. Because the nigga, he turned that nigga, he hit the ground, came back up, like, what happened? He was full fucking vampire. He was full fucking vampire.
He was.
So, he didn't have a little gray in his hair anymore. He was full fucking vampire.
But remember, they was eating, though. They was tasting him.
Yeah, he shot him. That's what I'm saying. Right. Like, they put the blood in him, and when he woke back up, he was full fucking vampire because he ran outside and caught on fire. So he's like, what is happening? Like, I was gonna tell you before he went to the door, Joe.
Well, then maybe it's different because I think it's different if Homeboy starts eating and biting on teeth.
No, I think it was the age thing.
I think it was the age thing?
Yeah, I think he had to. You go to your perfect age and then you.
Oh, yeah, because it was I'm taking you back to your peak form.
Right.
And then you turn it.
Because then that's what happened to the lady, but, you know, they worked her.
The bitch she was eating in the house was vampire. Her eyes were reflecting. He was still eating her. I'm like, damn, that's cannibalism at this point. Yeah, he like, shit, I'm in it.
That's what I'm saying. It made no sense.
Yeah.
He could have ate everybody in less than a week. If everybody was like, why? What's going on with everybody? Yeah. And then he could do the playing with the boat shit later on. He didn't do this cold shit. Like, you're gonna be vampire, you're gonna be vampire. You just been confused like that last week. He was like, I ate my wife and kid. Like, he was confused, still vampire.
He was confused. He wasn't gonna have that shit. He was gonna kill himself. He was gonna kill himself. Unknowingly, he was gonna be in the sun, be like, right. I didn't know I could be out.
Ooh, it's hot.
Yeah, right.
Never mind.
And that seemed like a rule that none of them got when they got turned.
Right.
It's just none of them. Like,
no one.
That's what I'm saying. That I will say for Dracula, that was weird. Like, hey, why you not passing the message along? Like, hey, dog, when this happens, don't take your ass out in that sun. Like, we gonna explode.
But then you say they didn't talk.
I don't know.
So it was like there was like it seems like a lot of the stuff was just kind of like speculation for him. Yeah. You know, there's like hey,
we think he was a telepath. We think he's telepath, but we don't know. Right. He's like, I keep hearing him. The more and more I keep hearing him, but no one else experienced this.
Only the pastor. Yeah, but the pastor shared that
he was cool with it, though.
Relation of I bit you and I bled into your mouth. Yeah. So that's the only reason because he didn't talk, and I believe he didn't talk. I need people to buy into the lure of me being an angel because if I talk, you're gonna know I'm a demon. Right. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let this pastor talk. Hey, remember he was dying of dementia. Yeah. Not anymore. Not Jesus. I did this. So follow me.
I mean, yeah.
It was an amazing plan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was a plan. This is the problem.
That's the problem. I don't know. What if essentially, even though he saved him and everything while he was old, and more so that affected him.
Saved him. He was just eating.
That
nigga was delivered chalupa. Like that nigga like he was like, I didn't know I was gonna have you today.
Like they're eating people left and right. But that's also the other thing. Like even though they were eating, it was on some, if you will, Walking Dead-esque, where because they were eating. Like in Walking Dead, like it got to a point where no, if you die, you just come back as a zombie. Period. Right. Mm-hmm. There, because he was drinking the blood of this motherfucker in communion. After a while, his blood was essentially terraforming you into be. You just needed to die to come back and be the undead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everybody
those who drink it indirectly, you still remain your sanity, and you're not fully changed or anything. So you can still be.
But you get like slow buildup, like the
slow change.
Right. He had a girl who was in a wheelchair; she could walk and shit. But she was normal, other than her blood was slowly changing.
Right. But then when you die, since you die, then that allows the vampire blood to take over your body. Right. That's when you come back to life. Now you're full vampire.
Like I said,
I didn't mind that part. I thought
I
it
didn't
was
mind.
interesting.
Nice little.
What was it?
That's what I'm saying. It was
True Blood.
True Blood,
Similar.
Vampire Diaries, all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. I'm like, all right, he did. That's why I like it. Like when you take stories or stuff like that, when it already has a vast history, and you do something. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's why I like The Walking Dead, where it's like, damn, nigga, you already a zombie, just don't die. So it's just like, damn. So I can die because people are crazy, and zombies can still eat me. Yeah. All right, game on. So that's for me. That's why I like when you those spins on shit that's always been there that you ain't really been touched on. So
Also, you love Twilight.
oh,
Have you watched Twilight?
No,
Have you watched Twilight?
no.
No bullshit. Watch Twilight. I mean,
Vampire Sparkle, James.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch Twilight.
yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Glory is what it means.
It's
Glorious.
it is a pinnacle. So it's almost like
It's the
what do
greatest
they call
comedy
it?
movie.
What do they call it,
you have
like-
never seen.
AIs that like they look too human. What do they call it?
The Uncanny Valley.
It's a very uncanny valley vampire movie. That's the perfect way to explain it. Because it's like something's wrong here. Something's horribly wrong. But it's like I know what you're trying to be, but something's wrong. Like something's horribly wrong. That's how it is.
You can't.
I know what you're trying to be.
You gotta see it. He refuses to watch it.
And like watch
I
all
want
your
him to
movies.
see it so bad.
I've
seen parts and stuff.
I
I've
refuse to
seen-
watch this.
And it-
I
it's
hear
insane.
shit about it. I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Oh man, they get superpowers just by being
They got
vampires.
superpowers. That shit.
The main dude
that
can
shit
fucking
do me
read
lit.
minds.
I'm not gonna sit for a lie. These
Main
niggas
dude-
get superpowers.
They're literally the last movie they get the Avatar.
Yeah,
Dude
damn.
can control all elements.
And he was always there.
He was always
He
there.
was just there somewhere in the Riviera. I don't know what the fuck this nigga. He was just chilling.
The
like,
main dude
oh
from
no.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Full stop. But like this nigga, he had all of
Get the fuck
the.
out of here.
No, he controlled water, my nigga.
That weird looking
and earth
He
and.
made a fucking like the earth open up and then lava was there and then
That nigga's a
motherfuckers
problem
Well,
solver.
he
I
was-
don't know how he wasn't in this whole series. Like it made no fucking sense.
just showed up and I can control all the elements. And it's like, huh? Where the fuck were you? Like 5 movies ago. You know, we had this young vampire problem. I don't know what you're talking about. It was
Wasn't
ripping,
none of my business.
they were ripping niggas' heads off, and I don't know what you're talking about. That had nothing to do with me.
But each movie came like with a different. It felt like if you was watching Power Rangers, but were vampires, and that was a season. I don't know how to else to explain it. Because there's always a different villain, always a different something like that. That's like it's an uncanny valley. Something's wrong with it. You know that it's vampires, but it's giving me much Power Ranger energy. Like it's
Not a vampire, but it was
Ooh, man.
it's not a movie that was like, oh, this is one of the best movies ever. You know, it's better than The Interview with the Vampire. Nothing like that.
Okay.
But cannot deny it. Cannot be denied. Like
I said, that is the greatest comedy movie
they
I've never
explain
seen.
the sparkles. They explain the sparkles.
Yeah, explain
They
what
for damn sure
Because
do.
these vampires, they don't someone don't kill them.
Oh.
They just they look. Their skin is diamond-like, of the hardness, like
Yeah.
in literal form. Like, nah, we're that strong.
And
I smack your ass, you going down, nigga. Like, but they sparkle.
They pull apart like fucking Legos.
They can pull themselves apart. To be clear, they rip these niggas. Oh, this
when the boy was reaching for the redhead, curly haired chick, and then the werewolves jumped this nigga. He like help, and he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he like, where are you going? And then he just ripped this nigga apart.
First movie, when they ripped that nigga apart,
Oh man.
I was like, shit.
And she was like,
we should do this the whole movie, like.
but then it was like from Bella's perspective as she was
Totally,
passing out. We just going on over there. Just go to sleep, bro.
Because he was like a fucking villain. Oh, he kidnapped this bitch. Yeah, he gonna torture him. I'm gonna fuck that nigga when he comes. They jumped this nigga. It was immediate. It was like found her. One grabbed her arm, one the head, snapped that bitch off. I was like, fuck. Then it was like they pulled the heart before and burnt that nigga, and it was dancing around. And I'm like, y'all niggas look fucking crazy.
It's the stupidest fucking thing. Then it was like, why did you go there, Bella? He said he had my mom. Your mom in Arizona? What are you talking about? And it was like, what, they had to be near Alaska or something like that? They were up somewhere like super far north. And then it was like, your mom lives in Arizona. In hot Arizona. In hot sun Arizona.
No, she was in Florida. Was she in Florida? Or was she...
She was in Arizona. She was like, she wanted to be somewhere with a lot of sun. And
because she was moving around. That's why. That's why she made it. I thought they went to Florida because he's in trials. No,
because the boyfriend wasn't he a baseball player?
Yeah.
And it was like she was like he plays for some team.
Okay, it was in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That shit was that. That's a good. I mean, I watched all of them. I watched every single one of them.
Oh, so did
I. It is such an interesting.
It is so hilarious.
It is an interesting movie to watch.
It is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. When they had to explain the backstory of the Confederate, shit. That's like, they had.
And then it was like, stop being a doctor, because you keep fucking turning everybody into vampires. And it was like, stop being a fucking doctor.
The main character is Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, nigga, like. So that shit.
I was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, but that shit. I'm seeing them suffer, and it was like, well, you turned a bitch who got killed on her wedding day.
I don't eat the women. I eat the people, the pedophiles who try to go after women. Like, I don't think that makes it better. I feel like in your head that sounds better, like, but you're still going around eating niggas. I was like, yeah, man.
But I'm a good guy. All we do is just repeat high school over,
but I don't fuck
and over.
My choice. Oh, like, the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Like
purity rings.
Fucking weirdo.
You have any idea what those guys were thinking about doing to you? All of them, just drunk guys in the back alley.
Are you
like,
recording?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is the antithesis of the podcast. You need all of this shit.
Huh? You want to share?
I'm about to share
Yeah, shit. It's a great movie. Great series of movies that were power movies. Very
first movie, she walks in front of a fan. The fan blows past Edward, and this nigga turns his head and acts like she stink. And it is so funny. And then she tries to talk to him, and he just be like, and it's the perfect action of someone that's like, you stink.
Have you watched all of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen every single one.
Man.
You can't start that crap
at one
and not
because you go a second and you're like, well, gotta watch the rest of it.
Like when he said the Uncanny Valley thing, perfectly, that's a perfect summary for the last movie, because they have a fucking 3D baby that ain't a baby. And then they be like, this is our baby. She's like perfectly beautiful. And it's like, what is that monster that they're holding in their hand? And it's like looking at everybody and it's like, hey. And it's like, I'm aware of everything right now. And it's like, this is some bullshit.
Chop that shit up. Yeah. They don't chop it.
It looked hideous.
They 3D rendered, it was an actual girl that was supposed to be their daughter. And so they just took her, instead of having a baby, and then slowly showing the transition of an actual child that just looked similar, they just actually took the girl and then de-aged her to where they made this 3D image of a baby. And then everyone kept holding this 3D baby that then turned into this 3D little girl that then was like a straight up teenager around their age. And it just happened in the span of a couple of fucking days. And everyone was like, this is our daughter. This is totally normal. She's going to fuck that werewolf.
Also, the worst pregnancy ever. The worst pregnancy fucking ever.
But
she looked so ugly and sick. It was almost like a vampire carrying a baby. Like a zombie carrying a baby. And that shit, her spine.
Every time I eat food, I throw it up.
Sit your ass down somewhere.
And it was like the baby is eating her. And it was like, she was like, every time I eat food, I just throw it up. And it was like, what if you drink blood? And it was like, that's disgusting. And it was like, get out of here. And it was like, all of y'all drink blood. I was like, what are you talking about? And she did it, and she was like, it's actually kind of good. And I was like, fucking Bella. And I was like, you so weird. And it was like,
Bella's supposed to be an average white woman.
Yeah.
She's act like an average dumbass white woman.
How many movies is it?
I think it's like, what, 5, 6?
6. Possibly 6.
Because it's like Breaking Dawn and...
Yeah. It's Twilight, Breaking Dawn, New Moon. Eclipse.
Yeah, one of them bitches.
And then, the two-parter.
Yeah.
So it should be 6. Yeah.
I'm kind of like him with movies and shit like that. If it's more than 2.
Oh, realistically, I just watched the first one just to be like, what's the hype? So now I watched it, and then I had to keep watching it because there was no fucking way I was going to end on that one. And I was like, oh hell!
Cannot top this one. Yes,
This nigga, when he took this girl into the middle of the woods, and he was like, "You know what I am," and then he said, "Say what I am," and then "You're a vampire." The worst, bitch. How dare you say it?
Look at me.
He's like, "Look at my monstrous form."
You
And he just
me.
went into the sunlight and sparkled, and he was like, "I'm hideous," and she was like. And I was like, I could hear her pussy getting wet. And I was like, you are doing nothing, sir, if you're trying to scare her off. And then what made it worse?
I'm trying to kill you.
And then what made it worse? He wasn't attracted to her. He just had this insatiable want of wanting to eat her ass because she just smelled so fucking good. As
like
food.
cocaine in him.
Yes.
Why didn't he eat her?
Because he started falling in love. With dinner.
Right. It's like a really good Wagyu steak. You're like, I don't know when, but I really want to cook this. Like, I don't want to waste it. And it's like,
but then it starts talking to you. And then like,
I gotta eat it soon. It's too bad. Like,
it starts talking to you and it just keeps complimenting you. And it's like, damn, now I really don't want to eat you.
Now you're kissing your steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard, didn't she start fucking a werewolf at some point?
No. She wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Because this nigga started walking around without no goddamn shirt on and wearing short blue jean pants, blue jean shorts. Everybody wanted to fuck this werewolf. But what was even more fucked up, when this nigga first showed up and it was like, yo, he liked Bella as well. He had long ass hair, wore real baggy clothes and long pants and everything, and the Bella, and it was like, yo, you ain't hitting it. And I was like, you just ain't hitting it. And then it was like, you know what?
Apparently just a white man playing a Native American.
Yeah.
Fuck me up. Fuck me up. I'm like,
fucking shark boy.
This thing got melanin. There's no way he's just white. He's just white. I'm like, this is a real shit right there.
And he was just cool as hell. And you wouldn't expect him to be so important later on, how they showed him in the first fucking movies. Yeah, and he was just cool as hell with her. He's like talking and shooting shit, and people were like, whoa, you talking to the Native Americans? Like, they off the reservation. Like, you don't just speak to them like that. And it was like, damn, that's racist. And it was like her side group of friends were like really fucking weird. So weird. What was it? At her wedding, the one girl, she was like, I should have been marrying Edward. Like, I'm the most popular. And it was like, what the fuck is this? And it was like one of the most awkward receptions ever. Oh, God, the movies are great. But,
she's a good actor, though.
Yeah.
What's her name? Start with an A.
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I want you to do that shit. I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Man,
the fight scenes are good. I'll give you that.
Fight scenes are good.
At the end, I guess the last movie or whatever.
Wow. They really did that choreography really well. I'm not saying you stick around for the fucking story.
and then
they have a vampire council. Them niggas are.
They had a meeting, and then when the meeting was over, you saw a tour group going into the meeting. And they was like, they're gonna eat them. And then they was like, right this way, everybody. We're gonna show you the inside. And then Bella's walking away like, hey, I wonder what these people are here for. And then they was like, don't say anything and don't turn back around. And she was like, why? You hear the door close, you heard, ah! And a bunch of sound like dogs. And it was like, what? And it was like, they ate them. And it was like, huh?
Yeah, people lose stories all the time, I guess. Like,
because they were weird because it was like Bella. It was like, ooh, the Bella? And I was like, why is she famous? And it was like, she's food. She's just really good smelling food. And it was like,
and you couldn't use the powers on her.
Yeah, you couldn't use your powers on her.
So that was weird because they had powers. So like the main character, he can read minds.
And then because he couldn't read her mind, it was like, that makes you special.
Talk to you?
It was like, that makes you special.
Yeah.
What's up with that? And then one chick could see the future, and she was like, I can't see your future, but I can see shit that happens around you. And like, that makes you special. And I'm like, a moonbeam girl. Like, so we're best friends now, forever. And they were. And she's so important to the end of the fucking movie.
Alice kept her as a pet for me. Like, on flick shit, like, you're my pet. Yeah, I'm gonna keep you around, make sure no one hurts you.
And then that's what made their clan even terrible, because it was like, yo, I know you this doctor nigga, but everybody you turn into a fucking vampire has this badass power. We need them. And it was like, we want all of them. A bitch can see the future, and a nigga can read minds. That alone is fucking retarded. And it was like, we want that. And they were like, no, we're vegetarian vampires. We just eat deer. And it was like, I don't give a fuck what the hell you just said.
Also, they had a deer scene. They fucked that deer up.
That's not a
Jumped the
vegetarian.
shit out that
It's
nigga.
very carnivorous. Not a vegetarian.
It's not a human eater. It's not a human
vegetarian.
I'm eating meat. God damn it.
You see the craziest football
Exactly.
tackle on Bambi Mom, and it's like one of the opening scenes in the first movie. And they like jump through 2 trees, and you see this giant white nigga, damn, the rest of them just gather around it.
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessary. It's like they could have shot it, poured it, and drank it.
Right.
Like, cause then they do it later, and then it's like fucking weird. But
They had baseball
favorite scene.
teams, and they can only play in lightning storms
During
because
thunderstorm.
they hit the ball so damn hard.
It makes
I'm
it sound like thunder, so they
That
only
shit.
play baseball during thunderstorms.
And they
Because
run
otherwise
full-
people would
these
be
niggas
like,
run full speed,
It's the
niggas.
stupidest fucking shit ever.
You tell me I'm a vegetarian. Ooh, caribou. It's like, ooh, caribou. I'm a vegetarian.
Best fucking scene in the first movie. Like, I would buy the first movie just for this one scene. And it is when she goes to their house and they prepare like a fucking 4-course meal dinner for Bella. And like they sit there and they were like, they had a salad. They like had fucking lamb. And I was like, nigga, they went out of their way. And they was like, we've never really used the kitchen before, so this is kind of fun because they're fucking vampires. And so then it was like, yeah. So we was kind of like excited to sit you down and like have dinner.
Eat because they're not eating any.
Right. So that would have been even more awkward. It was like, do you like it? Ain't no salt in this. Like, what's salt? It's like fucking weirdos. It's like weird vampire bastards.
Cooking
But then-
raw meat.
But then they was all like kind of happy, like hey, we got a guest, like a normal human that's cool with us being sparkling
That
people.
none of us want to eat.
No, I mean they really want to eat her, but like they don't eat her, but they
How
really.
is so retarded straight as this?
Oh, if you seen that goddamn Confederate, like this nigga be struggling.
He's new. This
It was like he just got turned. And it was like during the Civil War, and it was like
How long did it take y'all to get over this shit?
Then it was like new vampires are stronger than the old ones, which is also crazy.
And they still got human blood in them.
Yeah, so that makes them stronger. Crazy. But then you had it to where Bella came over, and then Edward, because he was being fucking weird, because he was acting like an actual teenager when his parents was like, "Oh, bring your girlfriend over." So he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, I don't want to talk to you guys. Like you're embarrassing."
They're vampires as well.
Yes, all of them. They're not. None of them are related.
Yeah.
So it's even fucking weirder. And then there was like, we made a dinner for you so we can all have dinner together and everything. And then she already ate.
Right. So he got her something to eat.
And then like she was like, I don't want to be rude and like try to eat in front of y'all. That'd be fucking weird. And I was like, and y'all vampires and everything. And you had a girl who's holding a salad bowl. She just crushed the shit.
We did all this shit.
You like, we made all this shit, and then it was like, you just told me no. And it was like, and ever since then, Bella was on her shit list, and she was like, "Fuck you."
She was a dumb. Like for her, like she was a dumb bitch for trying to hang around these vampires.
Yes.
Want to be a vampire? I'm like, you can't have kids, and you got to eat these fucking animals and shit, and try to kill people and shit. You do realize that's part of the vampires. Like, yeah, but I'll do it, stupid bitch. Like through the whole fucking.
She was like, you suck. And it was like, you keep coming around here, you keep making everybody happy, and it was like, yo, we literally have a pact against them fucking werewolves that if we even think of turning a motherfucker, that's a war. And it was like, you are insightful. And it was like, I want to eat you. But you just continuously not grasp that concept. And it's like, you're a hater. And it's like, fuck you, Bella. But then when that bitch got pregnant, then it was like, and it was like,
baby.
This is my sister. And then it was like, she's been cooler than everybody else. And it was like, and it's like, she got a fucking baby inside of her. I can't hate her no more. They did the damn thing in Rio on a private island when a fucking Mexican and Hispanic maid had to come in and clean up all that shit because they was all over the place because Edward had something to prove.
Bringing her back,
nigga. They broke all the furniture. I don't know how she would. I don't know how
she never fucked before.
Yeah, but then it was like, how did she survive that?
How did she survive?
It didn't make any sense. Because this nigga like. The headboard being broke was nothing. Nigga, like they had the feathers of the bed and the pillows all over the place.
At the least her hip should have broke. At the least.
But then it's the scene like
my nasty freaking is like, no, go ahead,
yeah.
This is the fuck I'm talking about, nigga.
And then it would show him kind of gyrate on her, which was even more awkward. And then it's like him not trying to kill her, and her like, come on. Come on! Just like, nigga, I've been waiting for this 4 movies. Just show me what you're working with.
So they fucking like how they were on True Blood.
Nah.
Because you know on True Blood,
It was going super fast.
That's an HBO show thing. Nah, like he was like. Like she should have popped.
That's my problem. Like I don't like shit with restraint, right? You this beast. Be the beast.
See, you don't understand. This bitch tried to kill
They're trying to be
herself.
classy, but they're failing horribly. So
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, first
I'm
of
not
all-
even talking about that scene. I'm just talking about
That's the whole show.
I'm just hearing I hear vampires be all the way.
Nigga, they're not vampires. They're a comedy troupe. All right, the whole thing is
they're
hilarious.
vampires in the show. Do vampire stuff,
Like just the
and
fact,
they kill them.
like each
killed them
movie,
so
you go,
bad.
like each movie, you go like, yep, this seems like the story of a book, and because you get
What
from one
you're
of the.
describing is if I watch Friday the 13th, and instead of a machete, Jason is running around with a BB gun. Fuck, nigga.
It's like Jason is there, but there's other mass murderers that live in a small town and it's their peaceful shit. And other mass murderers like, hey, you gotta calm the fuck down. And then they have to go kill Jason and they're gonna fuck the shit out of Jason up because this is their fucking town. And I'm talking.
What ain't gonna stop this?
But there's no blood in none of it. So
See, now I'm done.
And they're all mass.
No blood.
I don't think you understand.
No,
this was intended and meant, and is for teenage white girls.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm not a teenage white girl.
Look
Shit we watch
Look at me when I tell you
teenage
this.
white girls.
Look at me when I tell you this. This is not for teenage white girls. This is for the world to laugh at. Because you see someone go, yeah, but you can't turn her though. Because if you turn her, the world was gonna get you. Jacob, no!
Jacob, no!
No, Jacob!
Jacob, no!
Like the big highlight moments that the movie wants you to understand are the different parts within the relationship between Bella and Edward. But realistically, the parts of the movie that are actually interesting have nothing to do with Bella and Edward. Like the fact that there's a Valtori chick that is just completely obsessed with Edward and is willing to use and manipulate anybody in order to get this nigga. But the movie itself is kind of vague on why she's like that. Fucking weird. And then the fact that it was Dakota Fanning just made it 1,000 times better. And she was just standing around.
Dakota's a real actor.
Yeah.
That's a G.
She's just standing around looking and she was like, oh, so you're Bella. I'll stop. Tear your head off if you even speak to me, bitch. And then it was like, don't talk. And then like the rest of them was like, if she kills you, there's nothing we can do about it. It was like, so it was like, be quiet.
They explained that there's no blood because vampires don't have any blood. That's why they do suck the blood. So they're like
I get that.
spiky, crystallized stuff. And it makes a crunchy sound where people say,
Well, to be honest, they're cold-blooded. They're drinking blood to get the iron out of it. That doesn't necessarily don't have it. They have it. It's just not.
That depends on whatever lore. That's not
There's
an
no
overall
blood in
rule.
this shit.
I mean, no one's question blood. No.
Again, I'm telling you, looking at this as a comedy, this is not a movie to be taken seriously or anything like that. It is just pure, strictly funny as shit. That's it.
It is funny shit.
You getting up out of here?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of it. That was hilarious. I'm glad. All right. Yeah. I hope everybody have fun. Now, thank you guys for indulging me in that. But all right.
Don't forget that.
Yep. Hey, real quick, make sure you check any of the links down below if you want to see any of the stuff that I'm involved with. This includes more episodes of my podcast, as well as a comic book that I'm working on with my buddies over at These Guys. But as always, this has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Daniel the Flame, and as always, good people, I hope you had fun.